Hello, my name is Ryan Scott, and I am a U.S. Army veteran with a bachelor's degree in applied management. I've recently graduated from the 12-week full stack web development bootcamp through Savvy Coders, during which I was able to learn both about the front end and back end of website development, how to use HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and how to work with third-party APIs and even develop my own API. During the 12 weeks, I was also able to be a developer on an agile team, and this was a huge help because it allowed me to attend daily stand-ups, to participate in sprint planning, and to conduct sprint reviews once they were completed. This ensured that I was able to stay on track with my Capstone project and that I was also able to complete my assignments on time. I'm happy to say that after completing the bootcamp, I was also able to become Agile certified. One of the first things that we did was to plan out our Capstone project. And the overall goal for the project was to have a single page application or an SBA that met the bootcamp criteria, as well as to provide a minimal viable product to our end users. Through the use of different tools, such as a mural board or a story map, wireframes, a user flow diagram, and a SWOT analysis, we were able to really create a roadmap for our websites so that we could then start building them. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so that way you can see some of those tools that I mentioned, as well as my website and some code. So here you can see my mural or my storyboard, and you can see that I chose to call my website SimpleConversions. And so for the Capstone project that I chose, I decided I wanted to build a website or web application that would do conversions for individuals. And this kind of came about because one night while my wife and I were making dinner, we were talking about having to do different conversions to figure out measurements for the food that we were cooking. And we kind of were talking, and I decided it would be really cool if there was a website out there that you could go to do that, basically, to get those conversions you needed. So I did some research, and I quickly found that there are definitely a lot of websites out there that you can do that. But I decided that I wanted to build one my own for my Capstone project, because I figured it would give me a great opportunity to really test my JavaScript capabilities and things like that. And so thus SimpleConversions was made. And so I'm not going to go through everything on this mural board here, but you can kind of see this is the bird's eye view, if you will, the 5,000-foot view of, what do I want my website, my web application to look like and be, what do I want my users experience to be, who's going to be using it, all that kind of stuff. And then you can see here, there's the kind of pre-basic wireframes almost for each individual page. So right there you see the home page, the contact page, about us page, the metric and imperial conversion pages, and then a training page for that. So I'm going to pull up my VS Code here and going to take a look at a few more of the documents that we were able to create. One of which was this MD document here, which really helped line out a lot of the information that we would be utilizing as we started to build our projects. And so, for my definition statement, obviously, I wanted to build an application that would help end users convert measurements into specific measurement types. They need US imperial or metric. So that was the goal for the website. I defined my audience. I really kind of outlined the contents of the application. What did I want on each page? All that kind of stuff. My color palette there, what kind of images, fonts, logos. And then I went and I looked at a lot of other sites that were kind of in the same space that I wanted to build my website with, so that I could kind of see what were they doing and what was a way that I'd be able to kind of differentiate myself or make my site stand out. So that's this page here. And then I'm going to jump into my wireframes, starting with my home page. And again, this is the bird's eye view, or the 5,000-foot view, kind of really making you think, what do you want the website to be? How do you want it to function? What do you want it to look like? And I was really going for something very simplistic, something very user-friendly, very easy to do, to where, an individual could come, they could get on the website, they could do their conversion, and then they could move on with their day. And so this was the original home page. Then we have our about page here. And then we have our contact page with a contact form. We have our imperial and our metric pages here. So the imperial US page, and then the metric page. And then we have a teaching page. And that was really it. And so again, this wasn't necessarily meant to be the end product, but more so just to get your creative mind going and figuring out, whenever you start to sit down and develop the site, what is it going to look like? So the next thing I'm going to show my SWOT analysis here, my strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And so for strengths, right, I wanted it to be simplistic, have a simplistic layout. I wanted it to have a modern looking style. I wanted it to be easily navigatable and easy and have easy functionality, something that the user wouldn't dread having to use. They would be able to get on there, enjoy it while they were on there, and then move on. For weaknesses, it's kind of, bare bone information. There's only so much information when it comes to conversions that you can put on there. It's going to have a specific user base. So, while anyone can use it, there's going to be specific individuals that are going to come back and use it time and time again because they need to do those conversions. It's going to have limited categories. Again, it kind of goes along with the bare bone information. There's only so many categories of conversions that you can do. And then it's going to have a small online presence initially. And the reason why I put that is because, like I said, there are a lot of other competitors or a lot of other sites that do conversions already. So individuals are already used to going to those sites. So that was going to be one of the weaknesses, is not a lot of people would have a need to necessarily go to my site directly. For opportunities, again, simplicity. We want to make it as quick, as easy, as simple, as painless as possible so that it's a good experience. We want to make it, give that information and make it readily available as quickly as they need it. And then, hopefully by doing those two things, you're going to have user dedication. Individuals are going to decide, hey, I like this site. I'm going to go back anytime I need to do whatever type of conversion they need. And then lastly, threats. We have, again, there's a lot of competitors. And the competitors that are there have been there for a long time. And then, there's limited defining features. There's only so much that you can do to make yourself stand out or to kind of catch the attention of your users. And then lastly here, we have the user flow diagram. And this was really to show that I wanted users to be able to navigate to any page from any page, whether they're on the home page or the about page or, the metric page, the teaching page. I wanted them to be able to get to anywhere on the website and to not have to do any type of like backtracking so that it was just an easy flow type of site. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up the website now so that you can see it. We have our SimpleConversions website here. And I'm sure that you guys can tell a lot of stuff has changed on those wireframes. At first, it initially showed that I was going to just have a hamburger icon and not a nav bar like I have. But I went ahead and I decided to change that because I just liked the layout better as it is here. And you can see that these are all have transitions on them, showing like whenever you hover over them, you can click on them and they'll transition you to that part of the site. You can also tell that I don't have the metric and then the US Imperial pages anymore. Those were combined into the conversion page. And the reason why I did that was because I felt that it would be a lot better overall experience for the end user, and it would really simplify the process just to have it all on one page. And it would keep them from having to go to two different pages, and instead they could go to one place and get all their information. So I went ahead and combined them. And then you can see I added a different page, the character page. We'll talk about that in a moment. And then we have our learning page. So again, just a very simple, very easy looking website, nothing too crazy. These are hyperlinked as well in the footer down here, so you can go to those associated pages if you wanted, or those associated views, I mean. One of the things that I wanted to do that I didn't have time to do was to make these two images here clickable. And I wanted it to basically be, if the metric system is your favorite, you could click on it and then it would change this down here to tell you how many other users have clicked on that when they were on the site. I just didn't have time to implement that, unfortunately, due to time restraints and it being a 12-week boot camp. I wasn't able to implement that, but that is something that I'll be doing in the future there. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this one here to show that it's working properly. And it'll take us to the About page. You can also do that up here, like I had mentioned. And then we just have our About page with the different informations on it. The About site, why conversions, all that kind of stuff. And then we have a disclaimer here saying, hey, these measurements are approximate numbers, and that's because they're rounded. They're not going to take you to the exact decimal point. Just kind of giving people that information. So, we can either click to get to the contact page here, or we can click here down there, like it's hyperlinked with the transition there. We'll go ahead and click here. And this is just a forum page to where end users can reach out with whatever they needed to, whether it be an other reason, a website issue, a suggestion, or a request. It's hosted on Forbespree. And so anytime, someone submits an email or submits a form here, I just get an email directly for it. So, we'll say other, and I'm just going to say have. you have a great day. Oops. So we'll go ahead and we'll submit that. And you see, okay, cool. Form Spree went ahead and did its thing and it sent it to me. We can click go back and it's going to bring us back to the site. Next thing I'm going to jump to is actually the character page. And hold on one moment. There we go. So we'll jump to the character page. And this is actually where I have my APIs hosted. And so we have our third-party API here at the top. And then we have my API, which is at the bottom of the page. And so one of the things that I had trouble with initially was trying to find an API that would help me with my conversions. Unfortunately, after looking for a while, I was not able to find one that was free. And so that meant that I actually ended up building out a lot of the functionality and the data or the information for my conversion page. And so it left me with having to find another third-party API that I wanted to use. And so after thinking about it for a while, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I love Star Wars, and I decided, you know what, why not have a Star Wars page on the site just for fun and to kind of help me learn how to use APIs and things like that. And so I went ahead and I found a Star Wars API that brings in a Star Wars character's name here. And so it gives you the character's name. And then from there, what I ended up doing was I took that information and I created it to where I have an iframe here for the Star Wars Wikipedia fan page. And it takes the name that that API gives you, and then it routes you to that character's page on the Wikipedia page. So we have our character here, and it's going to give us all the information we want to know about that character. And so anytime you come to this page, it'll give you a new character. That way, you know, if we click away, we come back, it's going to give us this character now, right? And we can learn all about that character. So I thought that that was neat. And again, there's a lot more information that you can get with the API that I'm using, the third-party API. I just use the character name. In the future, I would like to implement it to where, you know, you can get your favorite, or it gives you, you know, like a planet of the day, or, you know, a starship of the day, or something like that. Something to where it's just giving you a lot of cool other little information that you can use. But if we scroll down here, we can now see the API that I built. So what this is it's going to ask you, who's your favorite character, right? And so once you input the character, it adds it to the table that we have here that you can see. And I built it out to where it takes that character name you implement or you put in, and it gives it back to you as a hyperlink to where you can then click on it and it'll take you to the Wikipedia fan page for that character. And so I'm looking at it now and I just noticed that we don't have Darth Vader on here, which is a tragedy. So we're going to add Darth Vader and we'll see. Okay, it submitted it for us and we can see there. So if we click on Darth Vader and then we come up here to the top, we're going to see it's going to pull us to the Darth Vader Anakin Skywalker Wikipedia page, and we have him right there, and we can learn all we want to know about Darth Vader. So just, again, something fun, something cool that you can do with that API. And this is, again, just an initial implementation of it. In the future, I would like to add, again, more categories to where, you know, if you want to add your favorite character or your favorite planet or your favorite spaceship or whatever it may be, you can add it here, and then it'll give you those hyperlinks and you can go and you can learn more about them. Then we're going to take a look at the learning tool page here. As you can see, there's nothing on here at the moment. I unfortunately, again, once again, due to the time constraints and how much time it took me to build out the conversion page, I wasn't really able to build this page out all the way. And so for now, it just says coming soon. In the future, I plan to implement a page that has, you know, drop downs to where you can select what type of measurement you want to learn about. And then from there, it's going to populate a picture for you. And it's going to show you how to read that measurement, whether it be, you know, on a ruler or a tape measure or a measuring glass or a thermometer, any of those. And it'll tell you how to read them and kind of show you what you're looking at. And then from there, it's going to auto-populate another picture. And then it's going to give you a little quiz at the bottom showing you, hey, you know, what does that measurement read as, all that kind of stuff. So that is my plan for this page. Lastly, we're going to check out the conversion page, right? So this is the bread and butter of the website. This is what I spent a lot of time doing and developing. And initially, like I had said, I wanted to find an API that I could use to help me pull in that data and information and then do the conversions. Unfortunately, like I had mentioned, there weren't any for free. And so in an effort to conserve monetary resources, I ended up building out a lot of it myself. And this was one of my main challenges. And the reason being is because coming into the cohort, I didn't know a lot about JavaScript. And so I really had to develop my capabilities with it, learn about it a lot. And I'm very thankful for the faculty at Savvy Coders for helping me to learn and for teaching me, because they did a lot. They did teach me a lot. And so one of the cool things about this is I learned how to do cascading dropdowns for it, and I'll show the code for that in a moment. But basically what happens is it's not going to let you select the value type or the unit type until you select your measurement type. So the first thing that we'll do is we'll select our measurement type, and let's say we're going to do length, and then we're going to say unit type. What type of unit do we want to do? We'll do kilometers. And then we're going to say we're going to take our kilometers and we're going to put them into miles. So let's say we have 35 kilometers. Well, it's going to tell us right over here that's this amount of miles, 21.75 miles rounded. So that's how that works. And you can see as you raise the amount of kilometers, it just automatically will raise the mileage up on the side over there. You can clear it out and it'll drop you back to 0. And so we have all these different ones. We have length, weight, volume, area, and temperature. Let's say we have temperature. We're going to convert Fahrenheit to Celsius. And let's say it's 100 degrees outside. Well, it's going to be 37 point this number right here. So that's the conversion there for that. And then on this page here, I planned on having, history of the metric system, history of the imperial system or US imperial system. I am still currently collecting the history or the information for those sections. I just wanted to make sure that it was as accurate as possible before I added it. But that will be there in the future. It will kind of tell you where the metric system came from, how it's become popular, all that kind of stuff. And then in the imperial system or US imperial system, it'll tell you the same thing there as well in that section. So let's take a look at the code really quick for it. Like I had said, I had to build out a lot of the code for those cascading dropdowns and then the code for doing the conversions themselves. And so you can see here, I actually have my data object for those. We have our measurement, and then we have our unit type, and then we have our output unit types. And so that's there for all of those. And if you scroll down, you can then see here the function for that, where, first you have to input, your measurement type, then you have to input your measurement type there, and then you have to input your unit type there, and then you have to put your output type right there. And so once you do those, it functions the way that I showed. And then lastly, we have the actual part that's doing the conversion themselves. It's coded here for those. And so that's that area there. And that's my site as a whole. So I do want to thank you for taking the time to watch my video. And if you have any questions regarding the site or anything like that, please definitely let me know. Once again, thank you very much, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.